All right, guys, today we're going to be looking at how we write things in expanded notation with our decimals that we've been learning about all the way going to the thousandths place. So here I just made a place value chart, and we have our thousandths place, we have our hundreds place, our tens, our ones, we've got our decimal point, our tenths, our hundredths, and our thousandths. So, all right, so there's our, and that looks, I don't like how that looks, hold on. Thousandths, hundredths, tens, ones, decimal point, tenths, hundredths, and thousandths there, and that's a little better. All right, so, oh goodness. Let's try this again. There we go. All right, so number one, you need to have that memorized. Number two, you need to know when I'm in that position, what does it mean? And so, for example, you need to know the difference between a digit and the value. When I say a digit, I'm just talking about the number. So let me build a number. So let me say I've got 5,678 and 456 thousandths. So first things first, each one of those numbers is a digit. So this is the digit 5, this is the digit 4, this is the digit 6. Now, because they're in different positions, they have different values. So for example, this one is a number 5, and this one is a number 5, but they don't just mean 5. This one means 5,000, and this one means 500ths. We can think of this one as being 5 parts out of 100. So it's very, very different. Even though it's a 5, it's very, very different than having 5,000, which is a much, much larger value. And so let me erase these. So when we're putting things in expanded notation, and oh goodness gracious, I'm gonna make myself some room down here. We need to know about values and digits, and so we're going to apply that vocabulary as soon as I get some space here cleaned up. All right, so take this and let's work with this number here. So we've got, let's do red. All right, so I'm going to take my place value chart and I'm going to use it to help me make random lines on my board. All right, I'm going to use it to help me create this in expanded notation. So the first digit is the number 5. So I'm going to take my parentheses and I'm going to put the digit 5 and I'm going to multiply it by the place that it's in. So everything in the thousands place, we're going to multiply it by 1,000. So I'm going to say 5 times 1,000. Close my parentheses. And what that does is that gives me a value of 5,000, which is how much, if I have 5,000, that'd be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So that's the value of that 5 because of the position it's in on the place value chart. Then I'm going to put my plus sign because when I add up all of these values, they're going to give me that whole number. And so I'm separating them by plus signs. Next, I'm going to do the 6. So I'm going to open my parentheses. I'm going to put the number 6. And now I see this one over here was the thousands. This one is the hundred. So instead of doing it by 1,000, now I'm going to multiply it by 100. And when I do that, I get that value of 600. Then I'm going to go to my next number. I've got a 7. So I'm going to put plus, I'm going to open my parentheses, put my 7, and I'm going to look at, okay, this one is in the tens place, so I'm going to multiply it by 10. So 7 times 10, close my parentheses, put my plus sign. So notice the digit 5 is the first number. Then the 1,000 comes from because it's in the thousands place. The next number 6 is the first thing that I write, and then I'm saying times 100 because it's in the hundreds place. So now when I go to my ones, I'm going to put my parentheses and I'm going to put the digit that I see. So after I've got 5, 6, 7, next comes 8. And I'm going to multiply it by its position, which it's 1. So we're just going to do times 1, close the parentheses, put my plus sign. Now I'm going to go into the tenths place. So it's the same process. So even though you're in the decimals now, you still keep going. So we're going to open our parentheses. We're going to put the digit 4. I'm going to multiply it. Notice the 4, even though it's a decimal, we still just write that digit. And then the tenths place, we're going to do 0.1 because that 1, notice here, the 1 had to be in the thousandths place. Here, the 1 had to be in the hundreds. Here, the 1 is in the tens. Here, the 1 is in the ones place. Here, the 1 is in the tenths place. So when we multiply it by 0.1, that 1/10, that's what gives us that 0.4. So that value is 0.4. This value was 8. This value was 70. Forgot to put those in. All right, now we're going to put a plus sign. And now we are going to go to our hundredths. So open up our parentheses. I'm going to write the digit 5 times, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got to make that 1 get to the hundredths. So I've got my decimal point, my 0, and I need to put the 1 2 spots over. So that 0 is just a kind of like a placeholder that makes that 1 kind of push over to the right spot. So 0.01 plus, now I've got my 6, and I'm going to multiply it by the thousandths place, which is 001. The 1 has to be 3 spots over because if you look here, here's my decimal point. It's 1, 2, 3 spots over. And okay, so that gave this one over here. I forgot to write it again. So that gives me that value there. That's a 0, 5. And then this will give me the value of 006. And so all of these things in the parentheses, that's the expanded notation. And then what I've built down here, let me put some plus signs in between here. What I've built down here is our expanded form. So expanded form goes and takes all of that multiplication that you did in the expanded notation, and it goes ahead and multiplies it out and gives you the value. So when you multiply 5 times 1,000, you get 5,000. When you multiply 6 times 100, you get 600. So they're connected, and but they're both showing the same thing. They're both showing us what that value is. Remember, it's not just a 5, it's a 5,000. It's not just a 5 over here, it's 5 hundredths. So that placed those columns, they connect with helping us find, or they help us find our values. So hope that helps you, and go ahead. I just made up this number, and you can make up some of your own numbers. And let me give you one just to practice real quick here. Let's do 5,684 and 672 thousandths. So again, I'm just making that up. You can do the same, or you could roll a dice, or you can put out your place, your, what are they called? The playing cards. Like if you have a deck of cards, just deal out, how many do I have here? 7 numbers, and build your number, and just practice doing the expanded notation. So go ahead, pause the video, and see if you can do it on your own. And then let's go ahead and check to see if you did it right. So it would be 5 times 1,000 plus 6 times 100 plus 8 times 10 plus 4 times 1 plus 6 times 1/10 plus 7 times 100 plus 2 times 1,000. Okay, so hopefully you got that right. Thanks for watching and keep practicing. Bye, guys.